All right. Hello. I thought I would do another stream. I'm a little bit stuck on something at work, a bit blocked, and um, yeah, so I got a little bit what's it called? I wanted to do something, and I'm kind of waiting for some other people, and it's like, yeah. Sometimes it's very interesting. Like sometimes things are very. I'm in an environment now where it's like very much either or. Either it's like super overwhelming and then suddenly it gets like super silent. And I don't have like the spurs work enough to like jump between things. And it's hard to jump between things because it's so demanding, the things uh, that I currently work on. Um, so yeah. And then I thought, well, I can't just sit here. Either. So I thought I would exercise my mind a bit and talk about some data structures because we have this thing, and if you jump in and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you just have to watch the other stream. But I moved over the layout now, so we have our top bar and we have the 5-day week. And what's interesting is also like having this human mental like work mental model does a lot of things. So for example, you would think that this is just a calendar, but it's not a calendar. This is like a work week. So what I mean is that the year doesn't start on the 1st of January in this system. Like the first day is the first Monday of the year because that's the first work week of the year. So when you count weeks here, it's not the calendar weeks, which are super confusing, right? Because you think about weeks as work weeks. So anyways, just a detail. So I moved over the layout and then I have these things called types. And these types are really like, so it is the actual type, but it's also the Firebase conversion. So it converts updating, like creating and updating, a to-do in this case. But it's also like taking information from Firebase and converting it into the type that we actually want to consume in the UI. And there's some trickery to this because, for example, if you have this converter and you have two Firestore, and the thing is that sometimes you want to create a to-do, right? And then you want created at and updated at to be a field value, like you want it to be the server timestamp. But if you're just updating it, like, and really you don't want created at and updated at to actually be updated at all. You know what? Maybe a better way to do this, because I'm not sure if this is the best way. Yeah, you know what? Omit created at updated at. Oh, maybe this is actually a better way to do it. Oh, but then wait, why are you failing? Oh, yeah. I think this is because if I do any here, yeah, exactly. So this is just completely flawed how this works, because how should I type this? It's very confusing because created at and updated at are always there, but in terms of like passing the data into Firestore, you want the created at to only be. Yeah, this is the thing about Firestore. Like you normally you have a middle layer, like you have a server, and you have a server, and that server takes care of things like created at and updated at, right? But you don't have that in Firebase. So the question is like, where do you just move that responsibility all the way down to your client logic, like the, or do you put it like inside this converter, for example? But I don't think that makes sense. What is a, oh, field value is a class. And I do wonder, what does this type become? Does, can I see that? Yeah, so, oh, sorry, let me see. To do the created at, what does that become? Yeah, oh, date and field value, but that's wrong. It should be or. How do I make those two optional? Is there a way to do that? Okay, I'm gonna get stuck in these kinds of. This is the dangerous thing about this project, is that it's really about building something and exploring a concept, but I get stuck in these. I get stuck in these things, and it can completely wear me out, completely, and the project stops because I get stuck in some typing thing. But we just have to try. I don't know how to manage that. So we just have to try. This typing. I really wanted to express that create that to do has a created at and updated at, which can be a date. I wanted to extend so that those properties can also be a field value. How do I best express that? So this should be like, it should be created at should be field value or the original type from the to do. And I wonder if there's a like good way to express that, or do I have to do like to do and yeah, so I have to omit it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I just have to do that. And then the question becomes like, should this maybe just be its own type? So query. So this would be like to do Firestore. Yeah. So this is the to do Firestore. And this is this weird intermediate version of it. Yeah. Okay. But I think the best way to do this is created at or updated at. And then this can be date or field value. This can be date or field. Well, created at can only be, well, that's the thing. Yeah, and then this becomes a problem because created at, oh, it can be or field value. Like, there's something about this. I just don't like it. Oh, but now this can be a field value, which it will never be, right? So you have this, oh, for fuck's sake. So in this case, it might return a date. Well, it will become a timestamp or it will become a field value. But here it's coming from Firestore, and here it will never be a field value. It will always be a timestamp. So what I'm trying to state here is that timestamps, like time, is horrible in Firebase because you have 3 different versions of it. And not 3 different value types. You have like, as you can see here, you have like the creation, returning, or you have when it goes to Firestore, which has its type. Yeah, so you have I can't even describe it. It's just really, really bad. And I want to see if there's a better way to do this. So what if I could take this simple thing? This is what actually represents the thing. And I want to just say that, okay, this to do, I want to say, what do I want to say? I want to be able to do something like with field value to do, and then I want to say created at or updated at, something like that. And then this is going to return. Yeah, and then we don't have like to do Firestore. We just have Firestore. Like, oh my God. I'm noticing I'm in a bad mental state. I feel like I should be doing something else, but I don't know quite what to do. And then I kind of want to work on this, but that doesn't feel good either. I'm super tired because I was woken up at like before 5 this morning and didn't sleep well after that. Sharing a blanket with a 5-year-old. It's raining outside. Yeah. I'm losing my motivation here. Fuck. Oh. Okay, let's see if we can get past this hump. Maybe I'll feel better. So we need a way to define what fields can have a field value. So this basically says, okay, whenever you want to like update a document, you are allowed to use a field value for these fields. Now, this is not strictly true. Like, you shouldn't be using a field value when you update a document. You should only use it for create, right? So I don't like that, but that's fine because Firebase doesn't have database or server logic. And that's also a challenge we're going to try to see if we can get past here, is like, don't have functions for everything, Firebase functions. We should be able to implement this with the client because it's just going to make things so much simpler. Okay, but let's say that's fine. So we need that type, and then we need this type that converts the to-do dates into timestamps. So we could do that with timestamps to do. So we could have these two utility. Yeah. Well, with optional, with well, with field value. Yeah, that's fine. And then with timestamps. Yeah, let's do this. Utils. How would that work? So with field value would be export type with field value. T extends object or like record string unknown or any, doesn't matter. And then this will be K and key of T. So if oh yeah, sorry, and this would be what should we call this? U extends key of T. So if K extends U, that means that this key is in that thing. If it doesn't, it should just be the same. We're gonna say this can be TK or field value. This should work. And then we're gonna have export type with timestamp, I guess. T extends record string any, and this is going to be key in key of T. So if TK extends date, then we're going to say date or it's going to be a timestamp, or it's just going to be whatever this is. Let's see how this works. So we should be able to completely remove this, and we can think of this as ooh. Are you kidding me? Do they have with field value? Allows field values to be passed in as a property value while maintaining type safety. Oh, I think it just goes through. Oh, but here it puts it on any of them. We just want on, yeah, interesting. Anyways, we want our own. Yeah, and what we're getting here is well, maybe we don't need to actually return anything specific. And then here we want with timestamp. Why is this wrong? Oh, why didn't it? Oh, can't I extend? Oh, interesting. Let's ask Gemini about this. This does not work. Oh, let's use. So this does not work if the key is optional. How do I make it convert the date to a timestamp if the key is optional? To fix this, you need a distributive conditional type. Interesting. Oh, interesting. TK extends. Oh, isn't that what I'm doing? TK extends date. Oh, date or undefined. Oh, interesting. The helper type approach in the first solution. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Huh? Why does that work? I don't understand why that works. Create a helper that distributes the check. If v is date, return timestamp. If v is undefined, keep it undefined. Yeah, but does that... What about the type itself? I don't think this fixes it. Let's try it. Date to timestamp. TK. Oh, it actually fixes it. Interesting. Huh. I learned something new there. Cool. But I think this makes a lot of sense. Now we can like, we're gonna, like the backend here is kind of like the hook, right? That's how we think about it with Firebase. And then we are able to just create the definition and not worry about it. We're just going to use this, sorry, this way of doing it. Yeah, so what we could do here is like with field value to do, I'm just going to test it, created that, updated at like this, but then we also have to do with a timestamp like this. Wouldn't that work? Oh, interesting. Oh, property ID is missing. Oh yeah, because the two Firestore didn't have an ID. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It can just infer this. That's fine. Cool. So this is our, so now we have to think about, okay, we're gonna revisit this one. Let's actually build up a markdown thing here. Oops, markdown. So what I'm thinking here is that we are going to have, how am I going to write this? Let me just write organization. So we're going to have an organization. It's going to have a name. It's going to have, and I'm thinking about like collections here. So we're going to have organizations. And in those organizations, we're going to have an organization. Which has a name. I guess we don't really need more for now. And then within here, we're going to have another collection, which is going to be projects, which is also going to have a name. And then we're going to have issues, and we don't need to have those under projects. It's fine that we have them flat. I guess title. And then we're going to have profiles. And this is going to reference a UID, which is like the, yeah, should we call it UID? Yeah, this is also something I have to decide on. Like, what do we call the references? Let's call it ID. Let's call it the user ID. That's the most. So a user profile is going to have a user ID, and of course, an issue is going to have a project ID. Yeah, we don't need to do this. So that's going to be a name, projects. And the interesting thing now is that we're also going to have to-dos, and that's going to also be based on user ID. Well, not based on user ID, but it's going to have a user ID tied to it. And then we're going to have conversations. So these are like actual messages. And those are going to have a to-do ID as its parent. So instead of having channels, you can think of us having, how should I put this? Or I guess, yeah, how should I put this? I can't really compare them. But this is how you interact with anyone. If you want to ask anyone a question, you have to create a to-do first. And that's the nice thing, is like to actually ask someone something now, you have to think that, okay, now I'm going to ask the thing. You can't just, oh, I have to ask this person about this thing, right? So now you can actually create a to-do first. I need to ask this person about something. Or I need to figure out this thing. And then later, you can go into the conversation of that to-do. You can tag the person you need to ask, and you can start the conversation. So it just allows you to, I think that's the practicality of feeling overwhelmed, is just like you feel like you have to act on things all the time. You can't just write things down. My partner has this thing where you feel like there's so many things you need to act on, and it's either that or it's gonna never happen. Like, that's overwhelmed, right? Definition of overwhelmed. But there is this intermediate thing you can do, which is like, my partner writes lists. So she just writes everything down. And this is what this is. It's like every time you think about something that needs to be done, just create a to-do, don't act on it. Every time you get a notification, don't act on it, just write it down. Like, write it down, write it down, write it down. Yeah, so the idea here is that in this app, you're already part of an organization. If you don't have a profile, the client will create that profile. And that's going to hold like your settings for whatever. And then you can go and just create a to-do if you want to do that. That's going to have your user ID. And then, yeah, one detail is like, what if you create a to-do, like, I want to talk to this person about something. That needs to create a to-do on the other side for the receiver. So if I have like, I need to talk to Maria about awesome stuff. What's going to happen in the system is that this is just going to create a to-do for me. But the idea is that it's also going to create a to-do for Maria. The question is, how does this interaction work? Does this interaction, like what does Maria see? She gets a to-do that's linked to the same. Yeah, so this is the thing. I don't think to-dos should have mentions. So it's more like I need, but that feels a bit artificial that you can't tag people in conversations. Okay, but let's say I do this. I need to talk to Maria about awesome stuff. It's not going to generate a notification for Maria. What's going to happen is if I go in here and I tell, there's a conversation created here, or maybe all to-dos should have a conversation. But not all to-dos has a conversation. So this is the thing. I think that should be. So looking at the UI, when you click it to do, when you create it to do, that doesn't have a conversation, right? But if you click the to do and it opens up, like I showed on the video, where is it? You click it, you open it up, and you start typing something, and you mention someone. That should create a to do for the other person. Yeah, that makes sense. But then how is that notification created? So you would just. Yeah, but maybe that's the thing. Like you can mention Maria in a to do, but that's not going to trigger a notification for Maria. It's rather when you go in and say, hi, Maria, I need this thing. That's going to create a conversation on that to do. And now that's going to generate to do at Maria's side, which is going to show up as, let's see, parent to do ID, which is optional. So the system is gonna sees that this conversation is tied to this to do. It mentions Maria. I need to go and find the to do that has this to do as a parent ID, which is owned by Maria. And if it doesn't exist, I'm going to create that to do. This is going to have a description. I'm going to create that to do, and I'm going to create that to do, and the description is going to be Yeah, maybe it doesn't even need a description. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't quite know how it's gonna work, but I'll just talk through it, and maybe I just need to reflect on this. Because so let's imagine. So I could show a to-do that has a parent to-do can be displayed differently, right? But maybe we shouldn't do that. So maybe the link here is actually not the parent to-do. It's just that they have the same conversation ID. That's so what's going to happen here is like, I need to talk to Maria about some awesome stuff. That just creates a to-do for me. And the tag for Maria is just to get Maria's name in there. It's like you can search for Maria. You don't have to mention by tag, or you don't have to do a mention. You can just write the name, but it's a good way to emphasize and dissect the information in the UI. And then when you actually start a conversation, and that message, that initial message is going to create a conversation for that to-do ID. Then that's going to also, because of that's the first thing. So if I just said hi, that's going to create a conversation for the to-do, linked to the to-do. But if it finds a mention, it's going to go and create a to-do for Maria that has the same conversation ID, but that is going to have a standard text. Like it will also be a mention, right? So Christian, oh, what's happening there? Interesting. Needs help, for example. I wonder if we could use AI for this. That would be so cool. This is like really good use of AI. It's like, take this description and convert it into Christian needs to talk about awesome stuff. That would be so cool. Because I think that's an important thing, is that but maybe, yeah, that's probably overdoing it. And to use a very cheap model for that. It would be so cool. And that's something I want. I want AI to be like a very transparent thing. You don't even think it's there. Yeah, what would I want to do there? So what I could do is like I could do like, Christian, I need to talk to, like, that's where it gets weird, right? About awesome stuff. But I want it to feel human. Okay, so let's imagine we do AI for this. So one, user A creates to do. User A writes a message on to do. Conversation is created for to do. Message with a mention of user B. User to do is created for user B with conversation of user A to do. To do description is AI generated based on. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Based on description of user A. The whole point here is that Maria should be able to like tick off this whenever she wants. Like I'm done with this. Or Maria should be able to like, okay, given this maybe answered, right? Just answered it, just tick it off, and then continue not thinking about it. And if that happens, yeah, how's that gonna work? How's that interaction gonna work? Because the idea is like Maria could even like tick it off and then do a follow-up the next day if she wanted to. So that's why it's important that each user have their own to-dos. There's no sharing of to-dos. That doesn't make any sense. But there's sharing of conversations. Yeah, so what would happen if Maria would answer the question, check it off, and then I answer back? No, I think I should create a new to-do. Like this is a lot of these ideas and thinking is coming from working remotely with asynchronous teams. So very rarely you have a sync conversation. And if you do have a sync conversation, like Maria wouldn't tick off, right? You just have the conversation and then tick it off after that. And the point is that what would happen here is that when that conversation was answered by me again, it would generate a new to-do, but that to-do would be like not up in Maria's face. It will be in the list of to-dos that she will flush out when she's ready to give attention to other things. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. We're getting somewhere. And again, all of this is just huge ass experiment, but there's something here. I'm gonna put this in my little Trello board. Just one card. Okay, cool. Now, one thing I'm not sure how to solve with Firebase is I'm gonna ask about that. In Firebase, can I do like text search? For example, I have a bunch of issues and I want the user to be able to find an issue by just using text. Yeah, I wonder how that would work. Well, that took a long time. No, not natively, within the standard. Search extension. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It handles typos. But I think we can be smart about this. So what you would do here, if you wanted to ask something about an issue, for example, you would create a to-do. Maybe I will write something like ask Maria about, and then it will be like an issue, right? So I would type this, and there will be like a drop down. That would just give me all the latest issues, right? So you would actually do the search in the client, and you can do fuzzy search there because it's not that much data. And this is the good thing about like single page applications. It's like they're data heavy. You're prepared for that, to put a lot of data in the client to create like a really good experience. So you would even like in the background, you would always have like all the issues of all the projects you're currently working on, for example. Stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think that doesn't worry me. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So let's just create like the base types here. So we have organization type. This is going to be organization. Yeah, it's going to have an ID, and then it's going to have a name. Oh, not a string. This is going to be organization. I don't need all these silly comments. Organization converter. This is going to be organization. This does not have any like last updated. I don't know if it even has any dates. So let's just do organization. Oh, I guess the thing is it should not have an ID. So we're going to say name, organization.name. And then organization, let's just do organization. Snapshot ID, and that will be data. Oh, name will be data.name. Cool. I guess that's it. Do we need... No, this is fine. Let's just shove that into project type. Project. Let's just rename it. This is going to be project converter. Rename project. Cool. And then we have issue type. And this was going to have issue converter, issue. That's not going to have a name. That's going to have a description. I think I wrote title, but we're going to have description. Cool. This is definitely going to have like created that and updated that and all of this stuff. But let's not mess around with that for now. And then we have profile. So this is going to be renamed to profile. We're going to have a user ID for this. And that's all for now. And it's going to be profile converter, user ID. Cool. Do we have something else? We have conversation. Rename conversation. Yeah, and this one's interesting because I'm not sure if conversation. Yeah, we also need a message type because a conversation needs messages. Yeah, but the conversation itself is going to keep track of like mentions and stuff. I think. Like the really cool thing here is that these are not like long-winded conversation. It's not like you're gonna have thousands of conversations because it's all tied to a to-do, right? So it's even though you reference an issue, like the whole conversation, like there's not a single conversation about an issue. It's related to a specific thing about that issue. So really, we just need like an array of messages. We don't really need a conversation per se, I think. Yeah, maybe we don't actually need. What is this? Conversations. Maybe this rather should be messages. But that does mean that does mean that that means like a to-dos has like messages, and that's a collection. I kind of like it. And then a message is bound to a to-do ID. But again, like, oh, sorry. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, this is the problem. So if, no, we need a conversation with messages. Content. And the reason is that those set of messages needs to be yeah. Yeah, okay. It feels like this is safer because it means that we can it means that we can use conversations for other things as well. Yeah, I think that's safest. Okay, so where were we going? We had conversation type, but we also need a message type. So this would be to-do ID. Oh, this is interesting. So the conversation doesn't have a to-do ID. The conversation is referenced. Yeah, so we just have some dates on when it was created. It can hold other metadata about mentions and stuff like that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, let's not return anything for now. Conversation, converter, conversation. Yeah, let's drop that. Cool. And then we need a message type. New file, message type, TS. Message type. So that will be message, which has some content. Oh, message, content will be message dot content. Message, return, message data dot message. Oh, content. Cool. Ja. Fordi jeg henter Oscar, vet du. Cool. I think this makes sense. At least this is something to build something on. So what would our next step be? We have a UI here, and what I really want to play with is the whole interaction of like creating a project. Yeah, and how are we gonna do that? Because now we only have one user. Well, I guess I can run it on my other computer, and I can have a different test user there, because I was just adding an email, right? That's also nice here. It's that I can just create all these test users. Cool. Okay, so okay, so I think we need a rule. We're gonna deal with data here. So we need, let's see, let me bring over Claude here. And we need a rule to make sure that the user can only read contents of its own organization. So, so we have this organization field on, yeah, I'm gonna ask Gemini about this. Let's see. Is it safe to use this custom parameter of organization as a Firebase rule to control what you can read and write? Boop, boop, boop. Oh. You're not setting a permission. Stamping the user with, yeah, custom claim. Firebase blocking. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Huh. Stamp the user. Okay. You can also add roles there if work. Okay, interesting. Okay, then we need to do this first. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is we're going to add the organization to Firestore. We're going to add this function that's going to run before sign in to stamp the organization ID as a custom claim. And we're going to put the role there as well. And then, well, one thing is actual like role, but we could put like the title. Whatever. And then we're going to create a Firebase rule that makes sure that you only have access to read your organization data. And by doing so, we can start implementing. Yeah. We can start implementing to-dos. Actually, here we could also ensure that you have a profile. This is nice. So that's not something that happens in the client. Okay, cool. Let's try this. Let's first set up Firebase functions. Or maybe we can ask Claude to do that. Could you please set up Firebase functions? No, I think I need to do Firebase init functions. Use an existing project. Ooh, I have Divergent Teams next. Let's see. Let's use TypeScript. No, I don't want the ESLint. I hate the ESLint. Yeah, sure, do that. Okay. Could you please create a before sign-in hook for me as a Firebase function? Because we need to set a custom claim for an organization when signing in with Work OS. I would also like you to ensure that the user has a profile record. Yeah, this is an example of the code. Please go ahead. Yeah, I guess I need to upgrade my project to be able to run these functions, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, nice. It sets up the profile. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was pretty nice. Could you also write a script for me in the workspace package JSON that deploys functions? So call it deploy : functions. Nice. Let's see. Open editors. Functions. Yeah, we can refactor this later. Probably. Why is it failing on user? Oh, it can be undefined. Okay. If no user throw, yeah, how exactly? In Firebase functions, how should I handle errors? Should I just throw an error? Hmm. So that was throw new functions. Okay, interesting. What about the before sign-in hook? Like the user can be undefined for some reason. Should I just throw an error? Should I just roll an iron? Oh my god, that's amazing. You should throw an error or roll an error. Oh, roll the error. User missing in event data. Cool. Okay. Impact unexpected traffic spikes. This is interesting. Yeah, we're gonna have traffic spikes for sure. Okay, so we're check if the sign-in is coming from work OS. So what I rather want to do is I don't want all of that to be if no credential or credential.provider ID is not equal to OIDC work OS. We're gonna throw another error. Invalid. Okay, first, if no credential, throw new error. Missing credential. Invalid provider. Invalid credential provider ID. Cool. So we don't need this whole thing. Boop. And where is it? Boop. Okay, let's just log it in the row profile. Okay. Why is this a problem? Oh, can't read the clear scope. Where's DB coming from? Hmm? Oh, interesting. And user profile. Huh. So, okay, again, what is it doing? Extract the profile data, blah, blah, blah. Ensure user has profile record in Firestore. User.displayName. And this should probably rather come from the work OS, right? Yeah, I can, we should change that. Or maybe that's like actually in, yeah, maybe that's actually there. Okay, but we don't need org ID there. That's fine, created at, updated at, yeah, we might have stuff here. I don't think we should have email. Well, we can have it for information, for sure. Okay, fine. Photo URL, nice. Display name. Yeah, with latest org info. We could check though if they've actually changed. But that's fine. And then if we don't have an org ID, we're fucked. If no org ID, throw new error, missing organization ID. Organization in work OS profile. So yeah, this should be simpler. Cool. I think that's good. Yeah, I want to structure this a little bit differently. So let's call this authentication.ts. And we're still going to let the admin initialize the app. But then we are going to, yeah, we're going to pass admin into the, let's see how this works. So this will be export const. Let's see. Let me copy that. So this would still be before sign in, create before sign in. Then I'm going to pass it admin. And this is a thing, like, or it might not have initialized yet when it's evaluating the other things. So let's pass admin. I think this is how I handle the other ones as well. Create before sign in. Oh, for fuck's sake. Admin. Firebase app, I think. Oh, Firebase admin app. Oh. What is this thing? It returns admin app. App. Okay. Oh, interesting. So this wasn't, wait, what's happening here? Oh, sorry. Ah, fuck, how did I do this in the other app? Divergent Teams. Oh. Functions. So I have this index. Get summary data. Didn't I like or what did I do? Did I just export? Because I did have an issue here. Oh. Wait, doesn't it export? I did have an issue with initialize app. So one of the other things wouldn't like have. Oh. I have to change that now. Fuck. For fuck's sake. What is the key? Oh, thank God. It was admin UID. I thought it was the OpenAPI key. Yeah, I thought I have hidden everything. Yeah, but this is just export const consume. So every function in source just exports something. How does it know that admin is initialized? Okay, let's not care about that. Let's still just do admin initialize app and then not do this. Yeah, let's not do this yet. It's nice to know, but do not initialize again. Oh yeah, sorry. Let's drop this. Cool. Let's do that instead. So now we have create before sign in. We're setting some data here. Let's add this to the profile. And this is also another like tricky thing. So that's the sharing types between functions and photo URL is string or no. Oh, wait a minute. I think this is a special. No, it is a string. That's weird. String or null. And this would, of course, be date, and this would be date. But now we want to... Well, I guess here we don't actually do... Let's see, how do we do this? Timestamp from date. Created at... Because it's created on the server, like you'll always have this. So that's why created at... Updated at... It's so easy to make mistakes here. I don't really like this, but... So photo URL... Photo URL, cool. To date. Oh. With timestamp. Wait, is this? Yeah, with timestamp. Updated at to date. Display name, data display name, email, data email, photo URL, data photo URL. Cool. And where were we working? We were working in the authentication thing. So yeah, I guess we just want to try this now. But I also want to log. Yeah, here we have the profile. Okay. So I'm gonna first change the plan here. So we pay as you go. Firebase payment. Budget amount 500 Norwegian kroner. Oh, skip this step. Yeah. Cool. And then we can try, now it's pay as you go. Let's try to pm deploy functions. Let's see what happens. Yeah, deploying. Nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna quit the stream after hopefully this works. And we can set some security on this. And then up next would be, well, basically just bring in the to-do creation from Divergent to-dos. And we need to refactor that so it runs with like Rask instead. But we don't have to do all the crazy stuff, like with the drag and drop and all of that. We need to do that manually, but we're... Yeah. Okay, deploy complete. So if we go in here, and I'm gonna... Because this doesn't run the thing. I have to actually sign in, right? Yeah. Let's see. Application, clear site data, login. Christian at example.com. Christian of phony. Engineering. Continue. Let's see if the thing ran. I'm just gonna check the logs. Well, I guess we can. Firebase console. We can check it here. It's fine. Where are functions? Here you are, functions. Okay. Why is it? Didn't I just deploy? Deploy complete. Oh, didn't... Yeah, this is the thing I don't understand. Like, because I just have the index. How the hell did I deploy? Or how did I split up? Ah! Oh, was it in the package JSON or something? No. Divergent to-dos. I did something smart here. I want to do the same. Divergent to-dos. How does it know that it's gonna... Like, how does it know that it's gonna do that thing? Go to... Oh, it is there. Oh, we just export them. Right. Okay, fuck. So it is literally export from authentication. Cool. Let's deploy again. Yeah, I didn't find the exports when looking through the files. I got confused. Yeah, so we're basically gonna just replicate the adding to do functionality. And then when we have that, we are going to implement the... Oh, this is another thing. No, that's not a problem. Yeah, because we don't want... This is a tricky one, because even though with Firebase, we're going to load a shit ton of data into the client, like everyone's name and ID, user ID, we're just going to load everyone. So if you're 1,000 employees, don't care. This isn't really built for that kind of thing. Because it's going to feel epic using the system. And it's like you're going to use it all freaking day. So there's no reason to... yeah. But how do you don't want to download the full profile of everyone. So there's something about... only grabbing the data you need. So with Firebase, you typically like duplicate data. Yeah, maybe we should have a users collection. So you're going to have users. That's going to hold, which is going to be the user ID, but it's only going to be the name. Yeah, it's basically going to be the name and like created and updated. And then the profile, that's your personal. Maybe even the photo. Yeah. Or maybe we can use profile. Oh, yeah, I have to think about this. How many days do you want to keep? Container 3, I guess. 1, probably fine. Let's try again. Yeah, it's fun to like. What I like about Firebase, it's so constrained. So you have to be like clever about. Oh, you have to be clever about how you structure your data, but you get a lot of reward from that. Oh, interesting. It failed. View logs. What the hell is this? Let's ask clone. I just got this error trying to sign in now. By the way, I did make some changes to the code, so please read the file again if you want to look at it. Yeah, the reward is that you can like make an insanely snappy system, but you will have duplicate data in your database. And you might have data that's like not 100%. So for example, like count wouldn't be reduced over how many users has oh, how do we do that? Yeah, sorry. So you would have like the like count would just be a number, and then you would have a different place where you store the actual user. So you would like store the user like this thing, and then you just increase the count. It's not like a query that accumulates all users that like that post. It just looks at the count, for example. That plugin is trying to verify token winner. These specific. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, let's try once more, and then I have to go. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. We should get there relatively quickly. To where we can start playing with the actual user interaction. Har du det? Ja. Funker deg. Nei, men greit når mamma er borte. Ja, ordne. Alright, let's sign out. Oh. Christian@example.com. Christian, oh, funny. Engineering. Oh, let's look. Oh no, let's look at the database. Oh. Oh, what happened here? Oh, documents. 1 megabyte? Yeah, we don't need big documents. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Well, that's weird. Was it able to write to it? Like, it can't have written to it. Oh, wait, we have to do this, I think. Yeah. Error managing user profile. Yeah, it's because I didn't have a database yet. Okay, but that's fine. I'm happy with this. I think it's gonna work the next time. Cool. So our plan now is, okay, let me just try once more. Christian, oh yeah. If it doesn't work, we're not gonna fix it. Oh, look at that. We have profiles. Christian Nice. No photo URL, no display name. That's interesting. No display name. We might want to grab it from the profile. Cool. Okay, that's amazing. So next time, as I said, we're just going to go and grab, we're going to create the rules. We're going to implement the basic to-do creation. And then we're going to explore conversations, because that's the thing I'm most excited about. See how that looks like and feels like. Because the project and the issue stuff, that's just something to derive to-dos from, actually. It's going to be interesting to design that interface, but it really is just something to derive to-dos from. So what I'm imagining is like someone creates a project, and then when you actually go into a project and define issues, you have a very traditional way of doing that. Like you just create the issues. And then, but instead of like assigning, like you are responsible for this, setting the status and all of this, what you rather do is that you create a to-do from it. I guess it's the same thing as assigning, but assignment isn't just setting this is your responsibility. It will actually create a to-do for you to work on that issue. And then you can work on that issue for a day, you can check it off, and then do a follow-up the next day. So you get this history on the issue of all the to-dos that's been created with reference to that issue. That's going to be really, really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be really, really epic. Because then you have this very human, like, who does the work centric view, which is like what we're seeing here. But you also have in the background, you can be like more of a manager going in and see what's the state of the project, who's working on what, and all of this stuff. Which is like completely opposite from what it's like now. Now it's so managementy going into like linear. Yeah, and then you have Slack next to it to have conversations, and then you double, like, it's so much like, yeah, it's a hassle. I think this is going to be really, really cool. Anyways, bye for now. I'll do another stream tomorrow.